York State thumbs its nose at ICE and President Trump. We're going to talk about that this morning. Great news on gas prices, cool beans, and it may be a little late for those of you like me who put up our tree a little early, like the day after Thanksgiving. But nevertheless, we got some suggestions state by state on how to decorate. There's some very cool stuff out there. And we got a kind of a feature decoration for each state. We'll talk about it coming up. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. That's me. Hello. Nice to have you along for the ride. Great to have you here. We are live on Rumble and live on X. And you can also watch the show later on in VOD on YouTube. We are over there. Be sure and give us a subscribe on YouTube. It's free and helps the algorithm, helps people find the show. We appreciate that. Here, there's a follow button. And X, I don't know if it's follow or subscribe, whatever it is, just click that anyway. All of that's free, and it helps the show. So if you want to help out, do that. We appreciate it. All right. Danny, good morning, great morning. It is. It's a Tuesday and kind of a, weird day. It's just one of those kind of like a Thursday, but at least Monday's over. Let's give it that, okay? Monday is gone, so that's a good thing. All right, let me just make sure everything else is working fine. Looks like it is, and we're off to the races. New York State is thumbing its nose at Trump and ICE. It has let loose 7,000 illegal alien criminals. Oh yeah. Far left New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani hasn't even taken office yet, and the state already has been hard at work coddling these illegal aliens and defying Trump's efforts to get criminal non-citizens off the street, you think. In fact, this year alone, they've released almost 7,000 illegals, some of them accused of very nasty crimes. These are the kind of people the left-leaning states are trying to protect. Instead of protecting their citizens, they're protecting these illegals, some accused of very nasty business. New York State, 7,000 known illegal immigrant criminals without notifying ICE since President Trump took office. Among these, murderers, sexual predators, maniacs booted from the U.S. 8 times, who attacked an Ithaca cop with a machete. Department of Homeland Security put out this information yesterday. Their rap sheet includes, get this, 29 homicides, thousands of assaults, and hundreds of burglaries. These are the people New York State has just released out onto the street. How you feel about that, New York? Feel safer in your beds at night? There are still thousands in jails in New York City. All thanks to sanctuary laws, prohibit regular law enforcement from cooperating with ICE. Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security, Tricia McLaughlin, on Monday rallied against the Democrats like Hochul, the governor, Dan Goldman, the rep from New York, for putting the public at risk, absolutely at risk. Listen to this. We're saying that these criminal illegal aliens are exiting the jails and going back into New York or Chicago or other sanctuary streets to re-perpetrate their crimes. Today in New York City jails, 7,169 criminal illegal aliens. We're talking about murderers, hundreds of them, sexual predators, drug traffickers, the worst of the worst. And they're just letting them go. Can we play that? Yeah, we can. Take a look at this. This is insane.
Of justice. We're seeing that these criminal illegal aliens are exiting the jails and going back onto New York or Chicago or these other sanctuary streets to re-perpetuate their crimes. Today, in New York City's jails are 7,169 criminal illegal aliens. We're talking about hundreds of murderers, hundreds of sexual predators, drug traffickers, the worst of the worst. Dan Goldman and these other sanctuary city politicians, they should agree to hand over those individuals, honor those detainers, and then we won't have to flood the zone with our ICE law enforcement. We won't have to put those men and women on the ground because we will get these vicious criminals out of New York City's jails.
Right.
And that's exactly right. These people ought to be handed over to ICE and deported. Get rid of them. But no, these sanctuary cities are just going to keep processing them through the system and pumping them right back into our neighborhoods. This is what you voted for. She tweeted almost 7,000 have been let out onto the street. 29 homicides, 2,500 assaults, 207 sexual predatory offenses, 199 burglaries, 305 robberies, 392 dangerous drug offenses, 300 weapons offenses. And these are just the ones that have been released by New York State. You got California, you got Chicago, Illinois. Unbelievable. ICE Director Todd Lyons sent a letter to New York Attorney General Letitia James on Monday, demanding they release the illegals still in custody to ICE. Expect the TDS-riddled AG to completely ignore his request, of course. The sanctuary law dates back to the disgraced Empire State Governor Cuomo, recently lost the mayoral race to Mamdani. If there was ever a choice between two evils, that was it. We've seen in blue state after blue state, deteriorating city after deteriorating, crumbling, lost cities. Democrats more concerned with fighting ICE and fighting Trump than making our streets safe. The places we live and work and play. Don't care. Absolutely. If they cared, would they have released 7,000 plus of these absolute illegal alien criminals, dangerous criminals, right back out into the street where they can go wherever they want? They don't care. These sanctuary policies need to go to the way of the dodo bird, become extinct, because it has been proven over and over again they are simply bad for this country. Something's got to give. Something's got to break. It's just getting worse. Danny cried my eyes out already while putting together a video for my little guy's 6th birthday. All right. I know memories like that it's a good cry, though. It's a good cry. Oh, man. What the hell is wrong with Democrats? That's the headline. Some people are stupid. It's just a gimme. Some people are ignorant. Other people are Democrats. In the ever-changing combination of the two, and there are a few things as dangerous as somebody who ignores an idiot who is also arrogant, Democrats are not interested in what they don't know. Do not think there is anything they're not an expert on. Oh, they know every bit of information about everything they're against and they're for. They're not interested in being educated on what they don't understand because they refuse to accept the concept that there could be anything they do not. It leads to a group of people who are dangerously broken and hell-bent on inflicting damage on Americans who will not obey them or obey the laws of this country we love. Canna, anti-American progressive left congressman from California, a prime example of the kind of ignorant side of the ledger. While seeming like a perfectly nice guy personally, important to remember that totalitarianism always comes with a smile. Seriously, search whatever monster you'd like. Mao, Stalin, Kim. You'll find plenty of pictures out there of them grinning from ear to ear. And that is not by accident. This image completely overrides the awful. Check it out. Canna, who's more of an affable kind of goofball, tweeted out recently, listen to this, Trump's threat to ban migration from third world countries, an outdated term, is returning to a pre-1965 America, where immigration from nations like India was several restricted. He put several, not severely. My parents would not have been welcome. His threat to revoke citizenship from those he views as non-compatible after how hard immigrants like places like Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala have worked to earn citizenship. It's callous and frightening. What may be a rather casual rant on social media by the president is devastating to millions of hardworking, law-abiding immigrant families. They're reaching out scared. This is this Canna guy tweeting. This is not the time for politicians to cave. I'm sick of politicians demonizing immigrants and voting for things like the Laken-Riley Act that deprived immigrants of basic rights. We must stand up for the contribution immigrants make to America. Sorry for your loss, Roe, but if you really want to be outraged, wait till you hear what Lincoln Riley was deprived of by one of your little friendly compadre illegal aliens. First off, it's an outdated term to say third world. There's another word that starts with an R that's even more outdated, and it absolutely applies to people like Roe. It is impossible for illegal aliens to be law-abiding. Their very existence in this country is breaking the law. But this absolute idiocy that we're dealing with and the dishonesty of Democrats, they choose the term and the meaning of both of those terms to benefit themselves and nobody else. This is how Democrats operate. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, politician whose resting face gives the impression that her inner monologue is duh. She recently celebrated the first house rebuilt from the Palisades after last January's wildfires. Now, forget the fact that those fires were set by a leftist lunatic. Exacerbated by the incompetence of the local Democrats who allowed water reserves and fire hydrants to completely dry out. Think about the fact that it's almost a whole year later, almost a whole year, by 1 month, and one house has been rebuilt? How is that even possible? Well, the answer is quite simple. Democrats. But the question gets even more hilarious when you get past the headline and you realize that this house is a construction company's model home and no one is ever going to live in it. That's the one house they're celebrating being built. a model home for a construction company, a possible design for others if they ever manage to get through the mess that is the LA, California permitting process, which is nearly impossible to do. It's like cooking a steak in front of a starving man and then throwing it away. It's exactly the same thing. Mayor Bass originally touted the completion of the model home on social media like it was some big accomplishment. Deleted the post after she realized that the real victims of the fire were complaining. So she just deleted the post. It's been learned the construction company has been in the process of building the homes before the fires started. Politico reporting, a home building company, Thomas James Homes, owns the parcel. Before the fire, it sought permits to bulldoze the vacant home on the site and build a new one. Well, the fire took care of the demolition for them. Quite handy. This new house has never been planned as a place for anybody to live. Rather, it serves as a model property for what the company could build for Palisades residents who lost their homes. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. What the hell is wrong with these people? And by that, I don't just mean the politicians. I mean the people who vote for them. Seriously. They wouldn't be in office to do this damage if it wasn't for those knuckleheads who wind up voting and putting them in there. How did such a large concentration of human beings become so collectively ignorant and arrogant, I might add? I don't really care if they inflict this idiocy on themselves. You go knock yourself out and live in whatever whack-out world you want to live in. Leave the rest of us out of it. If that were the case, I'd just pull out a bag of popcorn and enjoy the show, but that ain't going to happen. It affects every single one of us, including those of us who are awake, not woke. They want to use the power of governments to make sure everybody else suffers right along with them. And that is exactly what is happening. Democrats, idiots. After that story about releasing the illegals, Danny said, well, there goes my hopes of taking the kids to Chicago in the summer. Oh, likely not a good idea. Been asking to visit the Field Museum, Planetarium, and Shed Aquarium. May just take a trip to Indiana to find one. Probably a better idea, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that is probably the best idea you can have. It sucks, I know. Chicago has a lot of very cool stuff, but unfortunately, it is not the place to go anymore. It just isn't. It's far too dangerous. New York City, Chicago, LA. Trump doubles down on his asylum pause from third world countries. There's that name again. Doubled down on pausing offers of asylum to people from third world on Sunday on board Air Force One. This is a good story. After the deadly terror attacks last Wednesday, which resulted in the death of one West Virginia National Guardsman and critically injuring another. By the way, our latest word on that critically injured, the one who survived, is that he is doing significantly better, still in critical condition, but he's doing a lot better. So keep him in your prayers. The suspect, Ramanullah Lakhanwal, refugee from Afghanistan. Trump says, we don't want people. We have enough problems. We don't want these people. You know why we don't want them? Because many have been no good, and they shouldn't be in our country. 0 third worlders will be now let into the U.S. No time limit on the immigration pause. We don't want these people. Somebody asked him, "What do you mean by these people?" And he said, "People who aren't friendly to us, like Somalia. We don't want them." The countries that are affected by this pause: Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, the Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, never heard of it, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. Trump says those countries are not friendly to us, and they're out of control themselves, like Somalia, virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Well, ain't that nice? He then took a swipe at Ilhan Omar, the brother marrying representative, Minnesota, who's been suspected of committing immigration fraud. She continually denied the claims of marrying her brother to fraud immigration. He repeated that allegation and argued that if it were true, Omar should be thrown the hell out of our country. Exactly. Thank you. Out. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Just get out. There is some good news. I know we've been talking a lot about a bunch of crap, bad stuff, but there is some good news. I'm going to tell you about it coming up in just a bit. Right now, though, I'm going to tell you about Patriot Mobile. Oh, yeah, Patriot Mobile. Hey, where do you get your mobile, your wireless service from? If it isn't Patriot Mobile, you are sending money to the left. You are donating some of your hard-earned cash right into the pockets of some of these whack jobs. Whenever something goes viral, you can rest assured that frauds are going to jump on the bandwagon, talk about how patriotic their company is. They're not. For more than 10 years now, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And there they are. Patriot Mobile has been a great supporter of this show. They are the only cell phone service provider that's actually on the front lines defending our freedom. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage across all three major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to, or even better in most cases, without funding the left or companies pretending to be patriotic. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting companies that are defending free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, our military, our first responders. 100% customer-based service team makes switching easy. You keep your number, you keep your phone, nothing changes. Just go to patriotmobile.com/J or call 972-PATRIOT and use the promo code J, J-A-Y. You will get free activation and 1 month free service. Your first month is on me. I'm paying for it. Get over there. Put your money into a Christian conservative company that cares about the things you and I care about. patriotmobile.com/J. Don't be fooled by fake patriotic TV ads or other companies that claim their patriotism. Patriot Mobile, true blue, Christian conservative company, partner with the only wireless provider that actually lives our values. Make the switch today, patriotmobile.com/J. If you forget, that link is right at the top of our show notes. What is the great news I have for you? Gas prices. Yep, one of the most important questions when it comes to the price of gas. When it drops, it tends to help a lot of other things come down with it. And even CNN is reporting on it. The good news is it is coming down. For the first time in 4.5 years, gas prices nationally are averaging $3 a gallon. We got 20 states across the country where the actual average is less, $2.75 a gallon. That is amazing. Prices had hit their lowest since 2021, and even more significant, like I said, in 20 states below 275. I can verify that is true. Oil prices dropped from $83 3 years ago under Biden. It's now $59 under President Trump. U.S. production at all-time highs. OPEC is producing more as well. And this report says the positive aspects of Trump's drill baby drill approach and the price has dropped even lower than what they reported. U.S. crude oil production, a record 13.8 million barrels a day under President Trump's policy. Drill, baby, drill. Gas Buddy now even putting the national average at $2.95. Believes there's going to be continued downward pressure. A few states, believe it or not, are actually offering gas in some places under $2 a gallon. Yep. The number is going to grow even further as we get into the holiday season. They said it couldn't come at a better time for Americans. Relief arriving just as the holidays are kicking off. Senator Markwayne Mullin, a Republican from Oklahoma, said it was in Midwest City, Oklahoma, $1.95. Holy crap. That sounds like the price of petrol when I was a kid. $1.95 in Oklahoma. If your gas, by the way, is well over $3, you better take a hard look at what your state gas taxes are. That's likely the problem. The states with the highest average prices, California, $4.51, Hawaii, $4.35, Washington, $4.09. Not coincidentally, Democrat states. Vote your Democrats out. Watch that price plummet. So good news going into the future. Likely good news for influencing a lot of other prices as well as the gas prices go down. Because the price you're paying for other items is partly affected by the cost of transportation, the cost of getting things around the country. So if that price goes down, your price is going to go down on not just gas, a lot of other things. And that is going to help out with, and also, of course, holiday traveling. You can bet your bippy that cost is going to be a lot less. Good news, love to hear it. For those of you who think our president is not in very good shape, he is quite old, you know. Well, he's just released his MRI results. And you can keep the media in your thoughts and prayers. This corporate media's absolute obsession, or lack thereof, depending upon who occupies the Oval Office, obsession with the president's health is really something to behold. They are entirely incurious about, like, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline, delighting in the gaslighting of you and I about it. I love nothing better. But they're at hair on fire alert levels when President Trump sports a bruise or retains a little water. Now, it's all just a deflection, of course. The media goes extra hard in demanding health transparency from President Trump's staff and the medical team, hoping that we'll all just forget about the fact that these so-called journalists spent 4 years covering for a feeble, demented old man who had no business being anywhere near the nuclear football. Believe we would call this media malpractice. And the Trump White House, as it turns out, has absolutely nothing to hide when it comes to the president's current health. Trump himself promised over the weekend, "If you want to have it released, I'll release it," he told the media on Air Force One. The White House yesterday released the full results of the president's recent MRI, and it is chock full of nothing but good news. Trump's personal physician, Captain Sean Babadella, writing, "Everything evaluated is functioning within normal limits, and the president remains in excellent health." This is the actual letter that he put out there to Caroline Leavitt as part of President Trump's comprehensive executive physical advanced imaging was performed because men in his age group benefit from a thorough evaluation of cardiovascular and abdominal health. The purpose of the imaging is preventative to identify issues early, confirm overall health, and ensure he maintains long-term vitality and function. President Trump's cardiovascular imaging is perfectly normal. No evidence of arterial narrowing, impairing blood flow, or abnormalities in the heart or major vessels. Good news, because the man eats a lot of Mickey D's. The heart chambers, normal in size. Vessel walls appear smooth and healthy. No sign of inflammation or clotting. Overall, his cardiovascular system shows excellent health. His abdominal imaging also perfectly normal. All major organs appear very healthy and well perfused. Everything evaluated is functioning within normal limits, and no acute or chronic concerns. A summary: the level of detailed assessment is standard for an executive physical at President Trump's age and confirms that he remains in excellent overall health. So, nanny, nah. He's doing great. Seriously. I love the fact that he's been very open about his health updates. He just shares it out there. Here you go. Figure it out for yourselves. I love that. Very open. Because, the press is going to do everything they possibly can to muck around with that and try and make you think it's worse than it is. It ain't. Mangione, whom a lot of people are holding up as a hero of some kind. He's nothing but a thug, a useless murdering criminal. Well, he is trying to get evidence tossed out as his absolutely sicko fans are glorifying this accused assassin. If the name Luigi Mangione does not ring a bell, let remind you, he is the man who assassinated United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He's back in court yesterday, and twisted fans of this 27-year-old dressed up in costumes waited for hours in line just to get a glimpse of their hero. Meanwhile, billboard trucks supporting Mangione appeared on the streets outside the courthouse. This is ridiculous. Again, I keep asking the question, what the hell is wrong with these people? Cold-blooded murder in downtown Manhattan occurred almost exactly a year ago, December 4th. Now Mangione wants key evidence thrown out. It was collected by the police who nabbed him out in Altoona, Pennsylvania, 5 days after the shooting. His lawyers asking the court to suppress evidence collected during his arrest at the Pennsylvania McDonald's 5 days after the murder. The evidence includes physical evidence from a backpack, including the suspected murder weapon, his journals, statements he made to police before they read him Miranda warnings. These hearings are expected to run for a bunch of days. Included in the evidence Mangione wants thrown out is the 9mm handgun prosecutors say he used to carry out the killing, and a notebook where he allegedly describes the desire to whack a health insurance executive. Of course he wants it thrown out. Rolling Stone calls Mangione one of the most divisive murder suspects of the decade. Apparently, he looked in very good spirits for a guy accused of cowardly shooting a man he never even met, shooting him in the back, I might add. And these fan people, all just fawning over this guy. The public support for Mangione is alarming at the least. The left's ongoing normalization of political violence. We've seen 2 assassination attempts on President Trump, brutal execution of Charlie Kirk, this endless rhetoric implying in some cases and others outright saying that domestic terrorism is okay if it's done for the right cause. No, it's not. It is hard to fathom what these fans, and by the way, the base of that word is fanatics, could possibly be thinking over this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. They were glorifying this accused killer because he's supposedly cute. He realizes something we all know. Our health insurance system isn't perfect. No kidding. But you don't go shooting CEO executives in the back and killing them because of it. Hardly a reason to kill a father of 2. And yet, he's got huge crowds of fans every time he's appearing on his way in or out of court. Absolutely unbelievable. All right. You ready for a little light-handed stuff? I got some for you. I love this. I loves this. 10 tips. Wait a minute. That's not the one. Here it is. Unique. Here we go. Unique made in America gifts from each state. This is absolutely the coolest thing ever. I found this article and I love it. The American dream, if you worked hard, anyone can get ahead. Fulfilled by the risk takers who start their own businesses. There's no place like home for the holidays. But if you can't get there, and it's going to be cheaper, as we told you, with gas prices ridiculously low, some small businesses you can support on Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. Even though that's over, still get out there and support them. Starting any business requires creativity and bravery. Every business got to produce something that you want as a customer. Check out this list of places and some fascinating things made by small businesses. They are brilliant. And everything here on this list is made in America. Look at this from Alabama. Isn't that beautiful? The Alabama Sawyer Company makes furniture from reclaimed urban wood. Hexagon box, perfect for round loaves of bread. Beautiful. From Alabama. Alaska. Savory Alaska Company. You can hook up 5 salmon species, including king, sockeye, coho, pink, and keta, smoked or ready for you to cook. They've also got halibut, cod, smoked herring, octopus. Wow. Arizona. What is that? Cool, a singing tree flute, which makes American Indian flutes that look and sound like art, made out of cherry wood, aromatic cedar, and other woods. Each flute is displayed with photos and a video explaining the specific instrument. By the way, I'm mentioning the name of the companies, so just Google them, singing tree flutes, and you will no doubt find their places. Look at this, from Arkansas. Beautiful, the dulcimer. That is amazing. McSpadden Mountain Dulcimer, making dulcimers since 1962. How about that? California. How about a date? No, not that kind of date. Apparently, California grows very sweet dates. Delray Farms have an affordable and unexpected gift. Nice packaging, too. Colorado. What is that? Buena Goods mesh bags. Nice. Bright enough to satisfy the fashionista without making your taupe-loving friends cringe. Buena Goods. Connecticut. Hey, my home state. What do you got? That's pretty. I love purple, my favorite color. The Hartford Artisans Weaving Center teaches large loom weaving to local people who are visually impaired. Isn't that nice? Also to the blind and anyone over 55 years old. They make woven towels, napkins, scarves, wraps, and bags, and everything in their online store is one of a kind. So likely don't expect everything to be around forever. It's going to get sold out. That is a cool place. Hartford Artisans Weaving Center in Connecticut. Nice. Delaware. Scrapple? I have heard of Scrapple before, but I don't remember what it is. Controversial gift. Got to get some reaction from everybody in the room. People either love it or haven't tried it. I've never tried it. Delaware company Rappa Scrapple, founded in 1962. I'm going to pick up some Pennsylvania Scrapple. How about Florida? How about a sweet box of Florida citrus fruits at peak freshness? The Orange Shop. North Citra, Florida, been growing for 89 years. Lemons, grapefruit, and several different orange varieties. The Orange Shop. All their website there will take care of all your details. Georgia with some, you see that there, that pecan pie? My favorite food on the planet. If I could just live for the rest of my life on pecan pie, I'd be a happy camper. What else we got? Hawaii with Hawaiian shirts, Idaho, Teton Hammock Company, nice. Illinois, there you go, rustic red pop cob. Pilot Knob Farm near Oneida, Illinois, fifth generation popcorn farm that grows varieties of red and blue kernel corn. They say it has a softer hull. It advertises being easier on the teeth. Pilot Knob Farm near Oneida, Illinois. Indiana, Guardian Bikes in Seymour, Indiana, helping kids to learn to ride bikes. Their smallest bike frame, recommended for, oh my God, kids from 1.5 years old to 4 years old. And it's, oh, I get it. You see, there's no pedals. So you can, just use your feet, push yourself along, start to learn how to ride. Brilliant idea. That's Guardian Bikes. Oh, look at a bacon from Iowa. Kansas barbecue sauce. Nice. Isn't that pretty? Mary Alice Hadley. Kentucky potter wanted some sturdy plates to use on her houseboat in the Ohio River. Nice. M.A. Hadley's Pottery. Sweet. Louisiana. Oh, a praline. Yummy. Maine's got sardines. Ugh, no, thank you. Old Bay seasoning from Maryland. Look at that. Leather aprons from Moonshine Leather in Massachusetts. Michigan. Pickleball paddles? Really? Huh. Revelin, founding fathers of pickleball paddles. This is great. Minnesota. Art supplies. Support an artist and bring home the flavor of Minnesota with artworks from Bonnie Moore. Moore started painting pictures of the cows she saw on her farm, and she's best known for that. Recent years, she's expanded the cows to household art, Bible verses. Cool. Bonnie Moore, M-O-H-R. These are great. Missouri. Look at that. My grandmother used to have something like that. Ha! Absolutely incredible. So there you go. A bunch of suggestions for some stuff that you might want to look for the holiday season. Not a bad idea. All right. Now on to the 10 tips. Are you ready? Sorry, blackout coffee break. Links in the show notes. Great sales going on right now. 10 tips to keep smartphones from making your kids tired, fat, and miserable. There is a new study out with a very sobering warning to parents to avoid giving smartphones to their kids until it's absolutely necessary, if ever. Study released this week shows the real damage smartphones can cause to the developing brain of a preteen. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that age group. The study was led by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, University of California, Berkeley, and Columbia University in New York. Researchers looked at the data collected from the National Institutes of Health by more than 10.5 thousand youths between 2018 and 2020. First, they found most kids have smartphones. No big breaking news there. More than 95% of teens aged 13 to 17 have a smartphone. More than half, 57%, of tweens, 11 to 12-year-olds, have a smartphone. And 29% of kids between 8 and 10 have a smartphone. Now, if you, like me, have been doom scrolling until 3 o'clock in the morning, happens a lot. You know exactly how addictive these little things can be. Well, what happens when your child's health is involved, when hours of screen time are added to his or her life? Researchers looked at 12-year-olds, compared those with phones to those without a phone. They found that smartphone ownership was associated with a higher risk of depression, obesity, and insufficient sleep. Younger the age of smartphone acquisition, the more risk of these outcomes. Teens also at risk. Those who first got a phone at 13 years old showed greater odds of reporting clinical level psychopathy and insufficient sleep compared to those who don't yet have a smartphone. So here's the 10 tips. You can write them down or look back. Don't give your kids a phone until it's absolutely necessary. And I agree, at some point it becomes necessary. Give your kid a phone, but with no internet connection. Oh, that'll piss him off. Maybe your reason for giving him a phone is probably related to texting and talking, but that is all the capacity they need. Charge the phone overnight in the living room or the kitchen not in your kid's bedroom, where they can wake up at 3 in the morning, unplug the phone, and start doom scrolling. Have a time set for phone use. Maybe not at meals, 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Role model healthy phone use. If a parent is too engrossed in his or her phone to engage, a child learns that it's normal to make the phone a priority. You got to approve any app downloads. Make sure you have the ability to stop or not allow them to download any apps until you say it's okay. Teach very young children cell phone etiquette, how to be comfortable speaking on the phone. Texting has taken over calling in this society today. I hate that. Give me a good old-fashioned phone call any day compared to sitting here with my fat thumbs trying to eke out a message on these damn things. As a teen approaches adulthood, proves him or herself responsible, then that conversation can change to boundaries, to trust. Now, these rules are for very young users, new phone users. And if you keep that college student or young adult on the family plan, don't comb through their phone bill looking for how many times she's called using the same number from different states. You're just going to wonder if your kid is job hunting or maybe has a new love interest. None of that is any of your business, or do you really need to know? It's a boundary better navigated with trust. Hopefully, now that you have raised a smart young person. Depression, obesity, poor sleep at any age is horrific, and you don't want to be adding to that horror. Is your Christmas tree up? Is it decorated? Well, apparently, I've been doing it wrong all this time. Let me show you a little video I found of some young guy. He looks like maybe he's, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, if that. And he has found a method. There he is. He's found a method of decorating the tree. Now you can see the tree in the background. You can see a big plastic tub full of ornaments. It takes me at least the better part of an hour, sometimes 2, to set up the tree. Yes, we don't have a real tree here, sadly. I always had a real tree growing up, but we live in a suburb that it's just not appropriate, and not a lot of trees available here, and they're very expensive. So, yeah, we have an artificial tree. Beyond that, I always first put on the lights, then I put on the tinsel, then I put on the decorations, and I do it basically one at a time. Find a branch, hook the decoration on. Like I said, apparently, I've been doing it wrong all these years. Take a look.
You decorating the tree, Michael?
The tree. I got more balls. I got more words.
Look at that.
You decorating the tree, Michael?
They're actually hooking on.
Tree. I got more balls. I got more words.
This kid's got an arm. Nice job, Michael. It would take him about, I don't know what, 5 minutes to decorate that tree. Oh, man. All right. We're cooked. Thank you. Thanks for popping by. Appreciate it. It's a Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Be sure and visit our sponsors. It really does help to support the show when you make a purchase there. Get yourself some coffee, buy some coffee ground or beans for friends and relatives for this Christmas season coming up. Great flavored coffees over there at Blackout Coffee. Use that link in our show notes to get over there. And J20, that's the code JAY20 for 20% off your first order. Also, of course, Patriot Mobile, our good friends over there, and all the other great folks who help to sponsor this show. I will see you again tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.